Well, good morning, everyone. We wake up this morning with, some general showers and storms in the south, snow exiting the northeast this morning, and some impactful snow here in the northern and upper Midwest here in the central United States. Not as much, or just some minor impacts. And into Washington, Oregon, we get some showers and storms and some snow at the higher elevations here. And so for today, we have a severe threat in the southeast, and this develops a low offshore and moves to the northeast here. And we got pretty much likely blizzard, high impacts along the coast here tomorrow, right? So a lot going on this weekend. So let's dive into the forecast here. But first, I want to tell you, appreciate y'all watching. And if you wouldn't mind, like and subscribe to my channel, share with your friends, and leave any comments in the comments below. And the first thing that I'll go over is the current hazards. So what do we got going on today for current hazards? Well, we don't have a lot except for the eastern seaboard, and that's the big show for today, right? We got the waning threat out west here, and some, at least for right now, and some fire weather and winter weather concerns in the central U.S. and up here and far in the upper Midwest. So let's start out west here. Um, freeze warning in parts of California, high wind warnings, wind advisories, and some winter storm warnings for snow today. Okay, moving further north, we see some more wind advisories, high wind warnings, winter weather advisories, and a high wind watch here in northeastern Oregon. Moving further to the east and north here, we have winter weather advisory in the central part of the U.S. that I showed you up here into the upper Midwest, and winter storm watch in the higher terrain here, West Virginia. Okay, and yeah, West Virginia here. So moving further to the south here, red flag warning and dense fog in the Texas here and parts of Louisiana. And here we have the rest of this. We got blizzard warnings along the coast here, winter storm watch, winter storm warnings in other areas, winter storm warnings up here for ongoing what's happening right now, just the north of this area, and winter weather advisory also to the north of this as well, and coastal flood watch for some possible low-lying flooding as this system cranks up, and some flood watches here in parts of New York State and Pennsylvania as well. So we got quite a bit going on with the day 3 to 7 U.S. hazards, the 23rd through the 27th, which is Monday through Thursday, I think, right? So the northeast snowstorm, the blizzard, mid-Atlantic snowstorm is moving out there in this time with high winds, heavy snow, significant waves along the eastern seaboard. Out west, we have heavy precip chances the 23rd through the 24th and heavy snow as well. High winds expected in Wyoming and parts of Nebraska and South Dakota. And hazardous cold expected here in Alaska with high winds also and heavy precipitation. So as we go into the forecast for severe weather today and the snowfall tomorrow, let's start with the NAM 3 kilometer here, showing a heavy swath of rainfall and potential severe weather moving through the central part of Georgia and the deep south, right? Then a low develops offshore here. You can see it developing here with backside snow here already developing just to the west of the big cities, maybe hitting Philadelphia here. The trough digs here, the low intensifies, moves to the north, or already 990 millibars here. Really intensifier starts cranking up here. You can see intense snow bands within these where this low is moving, right? 965 millibar low. That's pretty intense for these latitudes, right? And here's your 70-degree and 40-degree benchmark. I want to see it goes right over top almost of that benchmark, okay? And that tells me it's in a very favorable position for nor'easter. Um, and this is what meteorologists use when they're looking at nor'easters and the area that they like low pressure to be when it as it's cranking up here for the heaviest impacts. I'm not saying it's the best situation for people out there, but it's reality of it, right? It looks very likely that we're going to have blizzard conditions all on the coast here. So let's look at the HRR. This goes out 48 hours. It pretty much shows the same thing to start with here, and we move through time with this. Shows a little more frozen precip along the coast here. I don't know if that's realistic or not. I think it's either going to be rain or snow here. I don't think there's going to be a lot of frozen precip, but we'll see. If frozen precip meaning ice, right? So if we do see that, then there could limit accumulations right along the coast, but I'm not too certain about that. But anyway, that's where this ends. So pretty much showing the same scenario as the NAM. So uh, I'm leaning heavily on the short-term models now, okay, because they do best at this, right? You get in the global models, they're not as high resolution, and so yeah, both of these agree on pretty much on this scenario. What I will do is show you the European and GFS to start with this, and we go through, right? The low, it develops a low further offshore here, and it's been doing this pretty consistently, okay? Um, with still major impacts here. So let's see where this moves. See, it moves a little bit further to the east and south of the 70-40 line benchmark. So when we compare that to the GFS, this is 6-0 on the GFS, okay? It's further to the west than most of the other models. So somewhere in between is probably a happy medium here. Either way, if this scenario plays out, we could really have some heavy snow right along the coast here and higher winds, okay? So let's look at the wind gusts, at least according to the NAM. So you see the system cranking up offshore here, high winds already making themselves known, right? You can see 40, 50 miles per hour, maybe 60 miles per hour right along the coast here. Almost looks like a hurricane, don't it? I mean, very intense winds, onshore flow here, especially 40, 50 mile per hour wind gusts. And if we look at wind speed, yeah, I mean, still very intense, okay? So we're going to have some possible whiteout conditions here if this plays out just like this. So winds crank up even further to the south here. It just gets moving. So right along the Jersey coast as well. It'll be offshore, but onshore right here, right? So, onshore winds right here could bring some flooding into New Jersey as well as it moves to the north. Like I said, inundation in the lowest elevations here is definitely a possibility here, especially if it occurs around high tide. So that's the end of where this is where the model ends here. So as a European model rendering of the waves, right, associated with the system, you see, 20, 30-foot waves here in direction, right? Potentially right offshore here, and to the south and east of the low pressure. So this is a little further east solution than any other models. So um, if this plays out, it won't be as impactful. But um, if any other scenario close to the coast plays out, it can be more impactful, of course. So we'll have to keep an eye on this as well. So this is the official snowfall forecast, recently updated. This was updated not too long ago. 6Z, 66-hour accumulation, right? So you see highest amounts, at least right now, right along the Jersey coast and New York, Long Island coastline here. But even inland, 12 inches plus. So let's just look at one of these. New City, New York. You see, um, low end possibilities 1 inch, high end 20. So quite a range here, which is interesting to note. Saving New York, 3 low end, expected 18, high end 22. And you go down here to Tom's River, 2 low end, expected 19 inches, and high end 29. So quite a range of possibilities here. You see this expected amount right along the coast here. Okay, even New York City. Let's take a look. Hoboken, New York. Um, so yeah, my friends back home into New Jersey. Let's look at your High Bridge, Clinton, New Jersey. Low end 1 inch, expected 12, high end 18. So interesting that we have such a spread here still, but let's not forget our friends in Boston. I know you can't see that. Let me move this out of the way. 2 to 24. That's an incredible spread here. And that may be because they're hedging their bets on the the European models still not being in agreement, but I have to side with the short range models with this one. So that's what we're going to do, at least right now. There's always a possibility of a bust here with lower totals. So we'll see today if we reel it in or not, but it's looking more likely that we're going to have an impactful event here. So this is the latest graphic as of yesterday at 3:15 p.m. They haven't updated this again to this morning, but it's still relevant, although um, still even more impacts probably here than this was yesterday. So um, you can see the graph, you can read this, everything's going on. I talked about it already, but um, this is from the experts. This isn't Tim Ayler telling you this is going to happen. So um, confidence is increasing, and hats off to the GFS for sniffing this out way ahead of all the other models. So yeah, so be safe out there. And I'll continue to monitor this through the day, and if I need to, I'll do another forecast tonight to talk about this. Well, this is the updated key messages for winter storm impact. So, 1 inch per hour snowfall rates issued today at 5:50 a.m. So, they're wind gusts 40 to 70 miles per hour expected along the coast in the southeast New England. Coastal flooding and erosion. Strong winds, blizzard conditions along the coastal areas from Delaware through southern New England. Do not attempt to travel tomorrow. Um, extreme disruption in travel to major in the red here. So this is expected now. There's not a lot of uncertainty with this. There's a lot more confidence today than there was yesterday. As far as severe weather for today, the threat is in the southeast for tornadoes, right? 2% risk of tornadoes, generally from Monroeville to Macon to Charleston, South Carolina, all the way south to Brunswick, Moultrie, Dothan, Alabama here. The wind threat is a little bit higher and larger, 5%. You can see the mesoscale discussion here ongoing with these right now elevated convection, maybe reaching severe limits as we go through the morning. And this should shift further to the east today. So we're starting to see development here, and this should continue, right? And then there's also a smaller hail threat, a 5% hail risk as well with these systems. So we have to be mindful. They may end up issuing a watch or severe thunderstorm watch or tornado watch in the coming hours, as daytime heating may make enough instability for storms to get going here. So we'll see. So there's nothing else on the board here for the next couple of days. So that's it for the severe threat for the short term anyway. So we have some severe weather possible today in Middle Georgia, as I will discuss or have discussed already. This is large hail, damaging wind, tornado risk, generally between 12 to 6 p.m. today. Um, so yeah, I'll discuss this a little bit more in the video, but that's what's going on today. And as we move into the forecast here, highest rain chances in Middle Georgia, right? Generally highs 60s to 70s, warmest temps farther to the south here. Tonight, the rain starts moving out. Temperatures dropping pretty quickly here. 30s, 40s, 50s for lows tonight, depending where you're at. Tomorrow, much cooler than it has been, with rain chances decreasing as you go further north here. Generally highs in the northeast Georgia in the low 40s, mid 50s tomorrow, and near 60 in far southern Georgia. So as we analyze the severe weather threat, I want to first start off with the surface features here. We got a surface low developing in Alabama this morning as of 9 a.m. Be moving through central Alabama, through central Georgia here. And right along where it moves is where I think we have the biggest severe threat this morning. So we go back a few model runs. Let's go back and see where this goes, right? Pretty much going through south central Georgia and moving offshore here, but kind of loses it here. But eventually, a surface low develops offshore and goes up into the northeast, right? So let's go a little bit back a little bit further with this to the 6Z run, go a little bit further out. And you see that moves out and moves up to the north. So the surface low along the stall boundary is going to be the impetus for any severe weather that occurs today. So we know that, right? And we look at the surface temps and we can determine where the boundary is, right? Pretty much. See a sharp gradient here. And the current temperatures where I'm at right now, 69 degrees. So it's actually warmed up a few degrees. Winds from the south-southwest, south-southwest. So definitely southerly winds here this morning. So pretty warm here. So we'll see how this plays out today, if we get any severe weather or not. But definitely on the table today. Well, this is a model depiction from the HRRR showing convection moving through Alabama this morning. Right, it's a 9, 10, 11, 12, 1 p.m. during close to peak heating, right? Not showing a lot of updraft helicity with these, although I would say, given the thermal profiles and shear in the atmosphere, we could definitely get some tornadoes, some quick spin ups. But the biggest threat, of course, is high winds and possibly hail here as these storms move through. And you can see this rendering with surface-based instability here. You see the highest amounts around 11, 12, moving from west to east here, right? As the storms move through, it may be reinvigorating towards the later in the evening, but if you go back to the reflectivity, you can see that's more indicative of this line moving through, not ahead of the line. But I wouldn't be surprised we get some prefrontal convection here as well with this. So anyway, that's the general time period here. 11, 12, 1, 2. Storms move through kind of slowly here, but could have some severe weather here between like 11 and 3. All right. And then maybe overnight we get another push to our south as the upper level feature starts to move through here. You can see the temperatures are quite warm here to start the day, 60s and 70s, so plenty of energy in the atmosphere with a dew point of 55. So still, wait a minute, why does it say 55 when I hover over it? It's not 55, but 70, it's weird. It says 55, but it's warmer than that. You can see that right there in the 70s there, right? You get to the afternoon, that front pushes further to the south. You see cooler temps overnight, and that's it for that. So anyway, I could sit there and analyze this all day, but it's an up and coming thing. I wouldn't be surprised if they issue a severe thunderstorm watch or tornado watch for our area in the coming hours. Well, as far as excessive rainfall, we don't really have anything until Monday, where we get more rainfall out west here. San Francisco to Reading to Eureka, Eugene, Salem, Portland up into parts of southern Washington state with a marginal risk here. Going to day 4, that threat moves a little bit further to the south, and parts of Northern California here in the California mountains, Carson City, Susansville, Grants Pass, San Jose, San Francisco. So be mindful of that if you live out here. And day 5, there's nothing on the books for the nation. So got a break for a little while and a few days of maybe heavy rainfall on the west coast, and then quiets down again. So when we start the 8 to 14 day period, we have a slight risk of heavy precip along northwest coast, the 28th through the 2nd. Risk of heavy snow also here, the 28th through the 2nd, in the Cascades and parts of Idaho, Wyoming, and Montana. Moderate risk of high winds the 28th through the 1st here in the dark brown, surrounded by a larger risk going through the 3rd of March, going further to the east and south here, and the 8th through the 1st here along the eastern seaboard, the Midwest, and part of the mid-Atlantic, and far southern Alaska. The only hazardous temperatures expected here are in Alaska, the 28th through the 4th, and the 28th through the 6th in the whole state here. So moving more into the extended, what are the temperatures going to look like? Well, it looks like to be warmer than normal through the beginning of March for most of the nation, with near normal temperatures way up to the north here, below in Alaska, above to near normal to below in Aleutian Island chain, and above in Hawaii. And we go through a little bit further out through the 6th of March. Temperatures look to be still above normal for most of the nation, with the exception of extreme upper Midwest and northern New England. Below in Alaska still here, high confidence here. Above in Hawaii, below to near normal in Aleutian Island chain. Now if we go 3 to 4 weeks out, still looking to be above normal for most of the nation, with the exception of the Northwest, where we have equal chances here. Most confidence in the deep south here of above normal temps. Hawaii still looking to be below normal, equal to above to below in the Aleutian Island chain, and above in the Hawaiian Islands. If we look at precip during this period, the 6 to 10 day, 8 to 14 day, and 3 to 4 week 3 to 4, above normal precip is expected in the northern tier of the U.S., to near normal to below in the far southwestern part of the United States, below to near normal to above, depending on where you are in Alaska, near normal in Aleutian Islands, above to near normal in the Hawaiian Island chain. As we move a little bit further out to the 8 to 14 day period, below normal shifting to the west coast here, precip, with a swath of above normal precip possible here in the Ohio Valley, Mississippi Valley here, and into southern Texas, which is different than it has been. And some large areas of near normal precip chances, with the exception of the far northern part of the United States. And Alaska below, near normal to above, Hawaii above, and near normal in the Aleutian Island chain. If we get further out, the 7th through the 20th of March, this was issued yesterday, looking to be above in the Pacific Northwest, maybe below in the desert Southwest, with equal chances in the white areas here, below again for the Southeast and maybe the Eastern Seaboard, and above Mississippi Valley in the Midwest, and maybe parts of the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, below equal to above in Alaska, equal chances to below in the Aleutian Island chain, and above in the Hawaiian Islands. If you look at the 15-day temperature outlook, you see the warm temps today, and then cooling off quite a bit here with a high of 45 tomorrow, but warming up quite a bit here in central Georgia as we get towards the middle part of the week, and then staying quite warm here through the period, at least for now with this forecast. 60s and 70s for highs, 50s and 40s for lows. So quite a bit of spread when you get this far out with the models. So let's keep that in mind too. The spread is pretty high, so quite a bit of variation in temperatures are possible here as we get further out. So as we move through the weekend, I want you all to be safe out there in the southeast, especially today with severe weather, and in the northeast over the weekend, especially along the coast areas and points inland, New Jersey, New York, Boston area. Very impactful weather this weekend. Dangerous travel conditions are expected. So appreciate y'all watching. I hope you have a great day and God bless.